What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have finally received the news that we've all been waiting for, which is what we can expect to see from the new game mode coming in just 4 or 5 days from now. So I'm going to first off go through everything that they have covered in the transmission, and then I will give you guys some thoughts at the end on what I think about the news so far. So without wasting any more time, let's get stuck right into it. So as the title suggests, the new game mode will officially be called Capital Supremacy, which does have a very nice ring to it. I'm pretty happy with the name, although it is only a name, and honestly I'm not fussed at all what the game mode is called, but I definitely do like the sound of it. Now the CT starts off by saying the goal for Capital Supremacy is to win the planetary battle, gain access to the opposing team's capital ship and destroy it. It then goes on to mention that we will be starting on the surface of the planet, where we'll need to capture command posts that are scattered around the planet. Obviously all of the command posts start as neutral, and then as your team and the enemy team capture them, they will come under control of either team. It then explains that as you capture more command posts, your team will gain reinforcements, and once you have enough, then your transport ships will arrive. So how I assume this is going to work is that there will be 5 command posts, and let's just say that your team captures 3 and the enemy team captures 2. Then you'll earn tickets the fastest, meaning you'll gain access to reinforcements first. So obviously the more command posts that you own, the more likely you are to win. Now once you do get those reinforcements, the transports will arrive, and this is where it definitely starts to sound pretty damn cool. You'll have a certain amount of time to make it to the transport ships, and as you board them, then you'll head on up to the enemy capital ship that I assume will be sort of hovering within the atmosphere. So in a sense we are getting ground to air combat like we wanted, although maybe not with quite as much freedom, but nonetheless it does sound very exciting anyway. Once you and your team do get up onto the enemy capital ships, you'll have a certain amount of tickets, and before they do run out, you'll need to follow a series of objectives to take home the win. You'll start off by overriding 2 doors to gain access to the capital ship interior, and then once you're in, you'll actually need to plant some sort of explosives to destroy critical ship systems, essentially just blowing up the enemy capital ship. Now obviously if you complete all the objectives, then your team will take home the win. However, if the enemy team defends well enough, then you'll actually be pushed back down onto the surface of the planet, where you'll then have to fight for the command posts again, which is where the name Supremacy comes in, as this part is very similar to the old Supremacy mode in that it is almost like a tug of war in a way. Now they have also mentioned that on the planet surface it will be 20v20 players, however there will actually be 12v12 AI on each team as well, and so even though it is only 20v20, there will actually be a total of 64 players between real and AI players floating around the map. Once you head up to the capital ships though, it'll only be 20v20, since obviously it will be much more clustered inside these ship interiors. Now there are heroes and reinforcements available, however they are actually only from the Clone Wars era, meaning the light side will have Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda and Chewie, and the dark side will have Grievous, Dooku, Maul and Boss, with Palpatine being left out since it would be unfairly balanced in terms of the dark side numbers. On top of the heroes and villains, we will of course get the Clone Wars era reinforcements as well, including the brand new ARC Troopers and the BX Commando droids, which I am very excited to get my hands on. As for the map, and this is a bit of a bummer, but I'll touch on this a little later on in the video, but the only map we're getting, at least for now, is Geonosis, so not too happy about that honestly, but like I said, I will touch on that a little bit more towards the end of the video. The only good thing about this section of the CT is that they have confirmed Geonosis is going to be very different than the one we currently know, so I assume it will be much bigger, and there are some areas that are already very detailed even though they're actually out of bounds on Galactic Assault, so let's hope at least that it is a lot larger of a map than the normal version. So that is pretty much it for how the actual mode works, but I'll quickly go over it again in case that was just a little bit too much information at once. So we will start down on the surface of Geonosis. There will be 5 command posts to capture, which will give your team points for each one that you do continue to capture. Once your team has enough points, it'll take us up to the enemy capital ships, where we'll have a few objectives to complete with a certain amount of tickets. If all objectives are complete, the capital ships will be destroyed and your team will win, or if you fail to complete the objectives, then the fight will go back down to the ground and essentially start again by the sounds of it. Now moving on to my initial thoughts, and in terms of the way the actual game works and stuff like that, it definitely sounds like a lot of fun to me. It almost sounds like a combination of Supremacy, Conquest and Galactic Assault, in that there are a few different phases containing different objectives, yet that ground to air feature really does make this sound very exciting. As for having 12 bots on each team, I'm okay with this as long as they're just not terrible players. I hope they actually capture objectives and can actually kill you and stuff, but I guess I'll have to save my judgment for when the game releases. But as long as it works, then I'm definitely okay with it. As for having the Clone Wars only heroes, this is a little bit annoying in a way, as it is limiting 20 characters down to 8, which is kind of stupid since we are lacking content already. But at the same time, I guess it will help with immersion, and hopefully everyone who complains about not being immersed can get that feeling in the new mode. Now, as for being on Geonosis only, I'm not going to lie, this is actually really frustrating, and right now this has put a huge bummer on this news. This was something that I've been nervous about for a long time, and it turns out it is exactly what I didn't want to see. If they are planning on adding plenty of new maps eventually, then it will be fine, but I really don't want another extraction mode in this game where it's extremely fun for about 2 weeks and then it just gets old, because extraction is one of my favourite game modes, yet it is almost unbearable at this point because it just gets so damn repetitive even after just 2 or 3 rounds. So I'm definitely nervous that we are going to have another one of these problems on our hands, and honestly I would have thought in the 9 months since the announcement they would have at least been able to add maybe Kashyyyk or Naboo or something, but unfortunately we are just going to have to settle for Geonosis, and until we hear some news we won't know what the plans for the future maps are. Now, I'm sure they will add more maps in the future. Honestly, it'd be pretty dumb on DICE's part if they did just release one of the biggest modes to ever be played in Battlefront and then only just give us one map. But again, we are just going to have to wait and see, and I am holding on hope that we will get to see at least 2 or 3, hopefully even 4 more maps at the very least. As much as I love the Clone Wars, I really do want to see this new mode be available for the OT maps and characters as well. I feel like those areas are being forgotten about at the moment, and until we hear about a roadmap, it almost seems as though we're never going to get any more OT or sequel content again. But like I said, all we can do at this point is just keep on being patient, and hopefully there will be a roadmap within a few weeks. My guess is actually that something might be released at Star Wars Celebration alongside the Fallen Order reveal, but that's just pure speculation, so again we will just have to wait and see what happens. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. It probably sounded like I wasn't very happy with the news, but overall I'm definitely very excited about the game mode itself. It sounds like a whole lot of fun, and this is exactly what a lot of us wanted, but the fact that it's only on Geonosis is a massive bummer for me, and so that does slightly dampen the news a little bit, but again, overall I am still very excited for the mode itself. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to get your thoughts on it all and see how everyone else feels about the news. I can already tell it's going to be pretty torn as of right now, but I'm hoping they can clear up a few questions in the coming days about what else we can expect to see from the update. But like I said, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.